Because you know today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. And Deke, as I told you, man, we know games are about to happen. Ball security is at a premium. And the best way to secure your balls and your balls is with the Lawnmower 4.0, which is the best when it comes to trimming, man. Not only is it waterproof, it has this beautiful little light that you can turn on and off depending on where you want to use it at. So you can see, some people like to shave in the nighttime, turns using their trimmer. Some people like to do it with the lights on. I'm a lights on dude, Deke. I like to see what's happening, but every once in a while I turn it off, club mode, ping, 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 ping. Have a little fun with the little light. You know what I mean? Every once in a while you got to do that, okay? But more importantly, when we are talking about Manscaped, we like to talk about them because we have a promo code, which is MOATS. You use that, you'll get 20% off of your purchase along with free shipping worldwide. So don't waste any time. Don't leave your dangly twins out there feeling too, furry this time of year with the heat and stuff like that. All right. So make sure you cop that. Use the promo code and your dangly twins will definitely thank you. Steelers Seahawks matchup, man. Just a couple of things that, what we thinking about, what we'll be looking for in this game, man. Offensively and defensively, things along that nature. But initially, man, I'm kind of liking it. Just the fact that we're going to get a chance to see some new blood. From the reports that I've read on the Seahawks coming out of camp, Geno Smith should get the start in this game. Said he's been doing some things out there. They said Drew Lock has obviously been playing well too. They got a weird dynamic with their quarterback competition also. They said it's clear that Drew Lock is the better talent, but they said like Geno still looks like consistent. So I'm like, all right, I like that. But I also think it's one of them things where it's Geno's job to lose, only in the sense of, we know we want Drew to be our guy, but we need you, Geno, to get that opportunity to prove that you're not that guy so Drew can get that spot. And I think that Geno's going to go ahead and help us out this weekend, hopefully. He'll help us out and help Drew Lock out. Usually he does.
Usually helps out the opposite team.
Yeah, usually that's the case. So that's how I think this is going to be. I think it's one of those scenarios, but either way, I do like the fact that we will be at least seeing two versions of what a team is going to look, or a team is going to think can be a QB1 out there, which to me, I like for our defense, not just for our starters, but for the second unit and potentially some of those third guys that are going to be subbing in while Drew Lock is potentially out there. I do like that they'll be able to see that, caliber of play. Probably isn't going to be too far off what they're seeing in practice now, but it's still good to keep it there or go better, not there and worse, because then we get that false sense of security at times.
Well, not only that, the running backs, I would assume, are going to be playing, and they have two pretty good running backs. Rashard Penny, he's a first-round pick in his own right. He was struggling a little bit early on in his NFL career. He really didn't get the opportunities, but last year came on strong at the end, and you almost thought, hey, they're just going to roll with him heading into this season. But no, then they draft Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State. So you got to assume each of them are going to be getting a fair amount of snaps. So whenever they do a quarterback change, it's not just going to be, hey, everyone else is dropping off. It's just going to be the quarterback staying in that starting caliber. Where the Seahawks are looking at, hey, Drew Lock, even though he's the second guy, we're still considering him for the start. This is all to your point. Hey, they're going to have like another running back in there too. And we're talking about just our linebacker depth, Spillane, whoever it is, Mark Robinson, Buddy Johnson. They're going to get a little good matchup there too.
And I also want to remind you too, they got an O-line battle going on with their tackles, left tackle and right tackle. Rookies, Charles Cross, the first rounder. Where is he from? I'm drawing a blank. He wasn't A&M.
I want to say Mississippi State.
Yeah, he's Mississippi State. You're right. Yeah, he's Mississippi State. And then they have another third round draft pick starting at the other tackle spot. So the reason I like that is because we don't anticipate seeing TJ Watt out there at all. I do think we'll get a series or two of Alex Highsmith potentially. But after that, Jannard Avery, Derek Tuska, those are the dudes, right? We want to see who of the others in that outside linebacker room are going to step up and really show what they can do, whether it's a Tazar Skipper. We know that he's been a preseason darling. If you get an opportunity out there with some of these dudes, what are you going to look like? That's the part for me that I'm excited about in terms of them playing even if they're not proven talents just yet, still higher pedigree talents. And that's the part that, I'm be excited about, because even though we paid Chooks and even though we drafted Dan a year ago in the 4th, neither one of those dudes are first round draft picks. Neither one of those dudes had the excitement surrounding them that surrounds a Charles Cross. Obviously, one of the dudes that we even talked about drafting here before we paid Chooks and all the other stuff with the offensive line. So for me, man, I do like that element though.
So what are we doing here? We're going over 3 things to look out for, 3 things we're excited about.
Yeah, so 3 things,
offense and defense,
offensively and defensively, that we're looking for, or we're excited about, or even concerned about going into this this preseason game, man.
Just something to keep your eye on, one way or another.
So you want to start it, or you want me to start it off, man?
Don't matter.
Oh, I like when you talk like that. Boy said, make a lot of yourself then one time, one time. All right, well, shoot. I guess I will go ahead and start it off. I'll give my thought. What time? Yeah, 5:20. Yeah, I'll drop my 3. Talk a little bit about them. You drop your 3.
Which one? Offense, defense?
I'm going to go offense first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to go offense first today, man, because we know, this is what we're talking about. So for me, man, the first thing that I want to see, or that I'll be looking for in this game, is for Mitch Trubisky to look the part. I want Mitch to put some separation between him and Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. You finally got that new growing pains out your system over that first week and a half of training camp where you weren't looking the best. And now you've put together a string of positive practices. Now you starting to look more like the guy from OTAs and minicamp. Well, the next step in that progression is continuing to do that in stadium. Can you be that guy in stadium where we know the consequences aren't end all be all because it's not regular season, but you still got to worry about getting hit. You still got to worry about turning the ball over. You still got to worry about drives stalling. It's not we got 6 plays this series because it's practice. So even if my first 3 plays are bad, I'm not coming off the field. I can get it on the 4th, 5th, and 6th play. Well, that's different in the preseason. So for Mitch, I want to see him just look the part. Like I said, I want to walk out of this game on Saturday and be like, I feel good about Mitch. I feel good about his performance. I feel good if we had to start tomorrow, he could be the guy. But that's what I need from him on Saturday. Next guy, Benny Snell. Put up or shut up, baby. He been putting together a nice camp. It's been quiet because Jaylen Warren has really been, he's came back alive.
I saw that.
He's come back alive, bro. He's come back alive. So for Benny Snell, yeah, you're going to feel that pressure. Anthony McFarland, yes, it's pressure, but it's different because of Anthony McFarland's game and his skill set compared to Benny Snell and Jaylen Warren. Anthony McFarland is very different than Benny and Jaylen. Benny and Jaylen, them boys is identical in terms of what their game is. So for Benny, we know what you bring to the table on special teams, but I also need to see what you can bring to the table in this backfield, just being more consistent, protecting the ball, blitz pickup, things like that.
He's going to get a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, 100% he will. And he's been playing well in camp, but I need to see it in stadium because he's one of those dudes, like I talked about when we first started this thing out, he knows how to look good in practice. He's to that stage in his career now. He knows what he's doing out there. Let's see when it matters now. Let's see when you're going against somebody else where they're going to be attacking that ball. They're going to be hitting you wherever they want to. It's not the, oh man, you my homie, so I'm not going to really try to take you out. I'm going to just, I'm going to hit you, but I ain't going to hit you. It's different in the game, and especially during the preseason. So that's the part for Benny Snell where I need to see. Separate yourself. Don't keep allowing Jaylen Warren to hang around because the way that works, keep hanging around. They go with the younger option. That's just the reality of it. But Jaylen has still a lot of room or a lot of ground to cover, not in the backfield per se, but the special teams element. That's the biggest thing that Benny Snell has going for him. And he's not going to play any special teams because of who he is and how Danny Smith views him as a key member on this unit. So that's where Jaylen Warren's going to get even more opportunities. Absolutely. So Jaylen really has to step up in that avenue. But for me, Benny Snell, just keep looking like how you've been looking thus far, but make sure it's consistent. Can't have nothing on the ground. You can't have no bad assignments, But as long as he does that, I think that'll be good for him. And then the last person or the last thing that I'm looking forward to seeing on offense is Kendra Green. You got the new position. You've, worked out with Pouncey this offseason and things like that. We got a new you. You're reinvented and all this other stuff. You're not going to have a Kevin Dotson out there potentially because we know what he's been dealing with in terms of the injury. It's like they're saying ankle, foot, but because it's this time of year, they don't have to give us like legit information on it. So we just know it's something lower body. But with Kendra Green, you're going to get more opportunities. You've been getting more opportunities. The past couple practices, he's been with the ones now. consistently because there hasn't been a Dotson, and he's not having to take ones and twos rep. He's just working ones only. And they've been having LeGlue as that third guy, right? And backing up Kendra Green. So for me, I want to see Kendra Green just look like you can belong. Don't look little. I don't care if you miss an assignment. Just don't look small. Because at times as a center, he just looked small. He looked like he was just too little to be out there. Not questioning his effort because we thought his effort was still good.
Did you see that Jordan Davis highlight where he just pushed the guy back?
Yes, dude. And that's what I think of at times when I think of young KG, bro. It's like, I just don't want that. I don't want to see that. All right. So just don't look little. That's what I'm looking for from him, though. Because we know the effort that he plays with. We know fundamentals in terms of hand placement, stuff like that. He's good. But this is a new adjustment. He was spinning all last year as a center. That's a different set of mechanics. It's a different set of eyes. It's a different set of technique in terms of how you operate out of the snap. Whereas when you talk about him as a guard, that's going to be something totally different. But he's also going to face different body types. It's not always big body noses or you're uncovered. Shoot, 1 week it might be a Vita Vea type where he's a hefty dude sitting on the inside. Next week it might be a Stephon Tuitt in a wide 3. Yeah. That's what you're going to have to deal with as a guard, those different types of body types. So we'll see, in terms of him as a whole, what that looks like as he goes forward. But he's one of those dudes that I really want to see in this first game. Just look like he's not small. Look like he's not undersized, because on paper, he technically still is very undersized.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kendrick Green's one of mine as well. Dotson's out. Let's see what you got. You're back in your natural position. We're all saying that center wasn't it for you. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to be with the ones, and you're seeing some of these reports saying him and Dan Moore on that left side are actually like kind of clicking a little bit. Yeah. I don't know, man. I would have liked to seen Dotson with these ones, but your best ability is your availability. I almost washed up the saying a little bit.
It'd be like that sometimes.
But yeah, Kendrick Green, I think, is a pretty obvious one. Well, I would add the whole offensive line, though, too. Because I'd like to see Dan Moore, some of these improvements people are talking about in camp. And then you have Mason Cole, new guy. James Daniel, another new guy.
Yeah.
And Chooks, we already know what he is. But you got 4 dudes that have a little bit of interesting storylines with them. Kendrick Green, Dan Moore, and then the 2 new guys that we signed. I'd like to see the whole thing as a unit.
Yep.
Can we see some improvements from last year? Because we did put some money into it. Maybe we could have put a little more money into it because we're still not one of the higher paid offensive lines. Now, I do think
we only pay, realistically,
some of that might be due to rookie contracts, though, too.
But the big money
Dan
for
Moore
us,
being on rookie deals.
The big money for us went to Chooks and James Daniels. Mason Cole, he got paid, but it wasn't anything where it's going to be like groundbreaking like that. And the rest of them dudes was on rookie deals, like you just said, man. So
I'm looking for improvement there, especially with this whole Canada system and how it's supposed to be all together now because we got a more mobile quarterback. See what it looks like.
Yeah.
Second, offense was interesting because there aren't too many guys I'm like, hey, man, I can't wait to see. I don't want to see him, and I do want to see him at the same time. It's Pickens.
Okay.
You know a highlight's going to happen. You know something crazy is going to happen.
Yeah.
But what bums me out is I already know what the NFL media and all the fake news media is going to do. Pickens is going to make an amazing play. Then they're going to act like they've been on this Steelers offensive bandwagon. New quarterback, whole new thing. They got Pickens. Is he the best receiver in this class? I just don't want to hear it from them. So that's one of the reasons why I don't want to see Pickens. And I also don't want to see him get hurt. I want him to be a surprise for the regular season.
You saying you don't want people to talk about the team nicely?
Only the people that have been and know what we've had from the start here, not the people that are going to flip up on us all of a sudden because they see a preseason game.
I didn't know I was sitting next to the gatekeeper of fandom. My apologies. I had no clue. I didn't know that it was like a cutoff. Like, hey, if you don't sign on when Deke says it, then it doesn't count. I didn't know that. All right, fair enough.
It is, but no, I'm excited to see Pickens because we know something special is going to happen.
Yeah,
and we want to see everything that we've heard in training camp in the stadium. That's all. I don't need to see it because I already feel like I know what it is. I'd rather just see it week 1. But you know what? It's not going to hurt to have a little highlight up there.
So question. If you had to sit one, George Pickens or James Daniels, who you said?
What's the relation between the two?
Well, they're both going to be very impactful on our offense, right? We both need both of them. One just signed a mega deal. He's our highest paid or second highest paid offensive lineman. on paper, he should be our best lineman, right? I'm just thinking because like how you're like, yo, I would play all the old line, James Daniels, but George, I don't want to play George. I want to sit him. I'm just like,
well, I told you part of the reason is I don't want to hear the media hype and all that type of stuff. I want to be flying under the radar.
But you don't think we're gonna have some hype if our offensive line with James Daniels moving people and it looks good?
Not the mainstream media. Okay. No, they're not going to care about that. Okay, there's no way because Najee's probably not playing. He's definitely not playing, right?
Right. Frymouth, he's still been
not playing. Deontay probably not playing. He got banged up randomly. Claypool probably not playing. It wasn't banged
up. For Deontay, he's going through the acclimation period. It's a soft tissue thing. When you first come out there, you remember everybody else been practicing for 2 weeks, not just doing individual and no team. Everybody's been doing everything in practice for 2 weeks. So it's a certain level of intensity. So Deontay, he came out there and I mean, he was fine, but that soft tissue stuff is real because it's a difference between you running on the sideline or you warming up and doing indie and sitting out a team. And then when you have to actually go out there and do team, it's a difference to that thing. And that's where, you know, just going through that period. I think Pat had a similar situation early on in camp. All the like the dudes that have been out, the majority of them have had like soft tissue stuff. It hasn't been anything crazy. And that's why when you hear about or you hear when Coach Thomas speaks on them, it's always more of the, could they play if we needed them? Sure. But you want to be a little bit more cautious with them because some of this soft tissue stuff could linger on into the season. That's what you really don't want to have happen.
Yeah. So Pickens is probably going to be our wide receiver one in this preseason game. Yeah. I guess you could lump in the other rookie receiver, Calvin Austin. He's been having some good reports coming out of camp too. Let's see the electricity. Last one. You said Mitch. I'm just going to say all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely.
I think it's pretty obvious. Mitch... Right. Is this whole reemergence true about you going up to Buffalo, finding something? You obviously had the talent. Did the Bears really screw you up? Now this is your chance. I mean, you want to talk about chances to reclaim a starting position in this league? This is teed up for you because he could have went to a bunch of other teams, probably a handful, probably between like 3 and 4 teams. We got it made for a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
The quarterback just has to step up. So let's see what Mitch looks like. And especially against a different defense, because we talked about how he's been going up against Steelers number ones, hasn't had the full gamut, that type of stuff. But now, Seahawks, you look at their depth chart, I don't know if they're going to be the best team this year.
I would agree.
Especially on defense. Now, offense, they still got weapons. Yeah. They're in a similar situation to us. I think we're in a better situation than theirs, but they're still wondering who their quarterback is.
Yep.
So yeah, Mitch, obvious, Mason. Let's see if some of these.
This is a team that we went into overtime with last year, if you think about it, bro. Yeah. If I remember correctly, the Geno Smith game,
That was bad defense, though. Deontay dropped a touchdown that would have closed it out in the second half. I remember that. Dude, that was bad defense. I mean, we let up like 100 yards on the ground in the second half. It was terrible. It's terrible.
How much did we score that game?
I don't remember. Okay. We had a solid 4. We were up 14 points. I remember that.
All right. Fair enough.
Am I wrong? Deontay dropped the touchdown. I remember that. The second half. It was a dot, too.
Oh, man. I'm sure it was.
It was a dot. Mason Rudolph. I just think all the quarterbacks. Let's see what Mason Rudolph can do. You're fighting for your NFL career, for your life here as a Steeler.
Yeah.
Let's see if the training camp reports are true that you turned over a new leaf. Where's that mental toughness at? Kenny Pickett, he was the first-round pick. Pitt product. Let's see the Pittsburgh story.
No, without a doubt, man.
This is going to be the first game.
No, without a doubt, man.
No more Heinz Field either. Acrisure Stadium.
Ooh, turn it up then. What's up? Upgrade? Give me one. Let's go.
So that's my offense.
Okay.
We pretty much got the same. The quarterbacks. We talked about Kendra Green. I said Pickens. You said Snow.
Yep. So we're pretty spot on with that. All right. Time to go to that defensive side of the ball. You know, the dog side. Well, no surprise here. I need to see Devin Bush or Robert Spillane do something. Do something in stadium. We've obviously talked about what both of those guys have been doing throughout training camp. And breaking out just the difference between Devin Bush and Robert Spillane. How Spillane has been doing a little bit more of the splashier stuff and just been flashing a little bit more. But Devin has still been playing well. He just hasn't wowed you. He hasn't jumped off the screen enough to me. But coming into stadium, this is one of those ones where we need to see. Number one, for Spillane, can you cover a running back and a tight end that is not from the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because he has improved in that element this season. You watch him in some of the drill work, you watch him in some of the 11 on 11, Spillane has definitely improved his coverage. But once again, I take it halfway because we're in-house. You know these guys. By the time I was in year 3 and 4 in Pittsburgh, I knew what type of routes certain people ran. We knew how, okay, L Bell, when he dead legs, this is what you look for. Wait for this. Just wait on it. Just wait on it. He still might hit it, but you just know. You can anticipate it. You don't get that luxury in the preseason when you're going against a team that you're not even thinking about. And now you're out here and it's like, oh, I don't know what this dude does. I got to just be fundamentally sound. I just have to, athlete on athlete. Can I do that? That's the part where I want to see with Spillane. With Devin Bush, it's always going to be physicality for me, just based on what we saw from him last season. Coming downhill, hat, hands, not being scared to thump these dudes, man. And just looking like he belongs. So that's the first thing that I need to see, man, is Devin Bush and Robert Spillane.
Just do something.
One of them dudes. Just give me something that I feel better about. Because otherwise, you know what's going to happen if they don't go out there and play well. We're going to be hollering about Robert. We're going to be hollering about Roquan Smith. Absolutely. So we can either go that route, or we can keep talking about that, or y'all can put that to rest. Kind of like what we talked about in the backfield, right? Y'all don't want us to keep bringing up these different running backs. Y'all don't want the Steelers to keep working on these different running backs. Well, one of y'all need to show that y'all could be RB too. That's just where it is right now, man. So Bush and Spillane, that's the first thing for me. The second thing I need to see, my trio of corners, Akello, Levi, and Cam. I don't know if DK is going to be out there. Probably not.
That was my biggest thing too. Yeah.
But if he is, I need one of y'all to look like y'all belong. Because I know what it looks like when you go against George Pickens. I need to know. I'm trying to see it versus something that's supposed to be elite. Now, if we get that opportunity, great. But if not, if he's not out there, it needs to look like he's not out there. And that's when I'm talking about our DBs, not the backups. I'm talking specifically Cam Sutton, Akello, and Levi. It needs to look like they them guys, because that's what we're anticipating. If it's a DK problem, if it's a George Pickens problem, if it's a Jamar Chase problem, okay, you can live with that. But it can't be a whatever receiver is out there, they just running wild on us. That's what it can't be. So for me, man, I want to see what those guys look like now that they're going to get a chance to do it in stadium as well. And then the final person that I'm looking forward to, or not necessarily I need to see it, I just want to see it personally. My man Edmonds. And it's nothing that he's done that's, been wrong. He's having a fine camp. He knows what he's doing. He's a starter in this league. He's a professional in this league. But I just want to continue to see that growth. Not necessarily as a run defender, but when that ball is in the air. We saw him take strides in that department last season. I just want to see it continue. You don't have to get a pick, but I want to see you flash. I want to see something where it's just like, okay, if that ball was in that air, it was like, yo, all right, he was in position. We felt good about that play. That's what I want to see from Edmonds, man. So he's the third dude for me, man.
Okay. I got 2 of the 3. Same as you.
Shoot, 2 of the 3. Let's go.
Steelers linebackers on Seahawks running backs. And then I also have Noah Fant versus Miles Jack. Do you think that's going to be how it's going to play out? Like Devin Bush and Spillane are going to be on the running backs, and then Miles Jack will be on Fant?
Let's go. If Fant is out there, that should definitely be the case. And I hope he is.
Unless it's Devin Bush on Fant. And we saw how that went whenever we played the Broncos a couple years ago. So that would be a good challenge.
It'd be a rematch. Either way, though, I'm down with it. Either way, they can go at it, man. Like, I would love to see, I don't necessarily need to see Spillane against Noah because I already know that dynamic. But if it's Bush or Miles, I think that would still be good to see. Absolutely. No, bro, you got me excited. I didn't even think about that. That'd be dope.
Oh, and we already talked about the 2 running backs, Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker. Now, neither of them are really pass catchers like that. But still, you could see Spillane run through a hole to get to him. Devin Bush, same type of thing. Are you going to stuff him like you should?
Absolutely.
Get through these lanes and whatnot?
Absolutely.
And Noah Fant, obviously we know the talent's there, and we know he can cook some people. So Miles Jack has reportedly been really good in coverage in training camp. So let's see if he could do it against a tight end like Fant. Now, Freiermuth, it would have been interesting if he would have went up against Freiermuth for most of this camp. Freiermuth's been hurt though.
Yeah. And then Freiermuth popped up with the random knee brace on the other day. I'm like, bro, whoa. Y'all told me with Hammy, that's a brace. What you doing here? He still was moving without it. But
is he doing the Tyson overworking?
I just don't know. And they're not giving us that information because they don't have to right now. So we're all just kind of like looking and we're like, why he got that on? What's that about? Is he still? Oh, he's still moving without. Okay. Oh, he's straight. All right, we good. So I don't know all the way, but that is something that I'm monitoring closely because y'all know how I feel about Pat. Love that dude. That's my tight end right there. Now that my dude.
All right, second one. I have it written down exactly like this. Would say corners versus receivers, but don't think DK and Lockett will play. Yeah. But as I thought about it a little bit more,
you need
with Seattle's being in this quarterback competition, why wouldn't they play?
That's what I'm saying. I could understand DK because you just gave him the new money, but at some point in time, you need to see what he looks like with Geno and with Drew.
Yeah,
in stadium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it could look pretty ugly if you got Geno with Dwayne Eskridge, and I think there's some other young guys that they have that are like no names as they're starting like 2 or 3 receivers. Yeah, could look ugly.
I would agree.
But if DK and Lockett do play, that's a little popcorn matchup here for the first couple series.
Because
our corners versus the receivers.
Right, because part of me says, all right, you don't play DK and Tyler because you've already seen them with Geno. But if this is legit the competition that they've, or at least the reports that we've been reading from Seattle, then Drew, you're going to want to see him maybe in some capacity with him, whether you're splitting that first quarter, however you want to do it. But you're going to want to see him out there with that dude. So, yeah, it could happen. We just don't know how they're going to handle it because Lockett obviously is a proven receiver. DK is proven. Lockett, he doesn't have the crazy injury history, but you don't want to potentially jeopardize or compromise his health going into a season. And with DK, you just paid him all that money. So that's typically why you don't play those type of dudes. But, yeah, I could definitely make a case for them being out there.
Yeah, that's a big matchup if it does happen. And then last one, I'm kind of like you with how you said Edmonds. Marvin Leal. I mean, we should be sitting most of our defensive line, I think. Cam Hayward, Ogunjobi, Tyson Alualu. I guess that's just going to depend on health with them because you made a point last podcast that we could see Alualu, Ogunjobi just because this is Ogunjobi's first time with the Steelers. Just get him out there, see how he feels, kind of like how we're doing with Miles Jack. I'm assuming Miles Jack's playing. But then with Alualu, he hasn't played in a while, so you just want to get his feet under him a little bit. But I'm assuming they're not going to play much, no matter what. Like, Hayward's definitely not playing, and if those two others
going to play a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and out there a lot, bruh.
We're hearing good stuff out of camp, and we knew his draft pedigree going into this college football season. He was supposed to be like a top 15 pick.
Yep.
Fell to us in the 3rd round in the draft for whatever reason, and I think we're going to benefit from it. So I just like to see this talent on display in an actual preseason game because you're hearing stuff about him just wrecking things and breaking shit up.
Yeah.
So let's see if we could do it in the preseason game because I think he could be one of those guys you get him in there middle of the season, give him 20-30% of the snaps, and all of a sudden late in the season he's getting 50 just because of the talent.
That's how it starts. That's exactly how it starts, man. But no, I'm excited about DeMarvin. I'm excited for Kenny. I just feel for Kenny because they're gonna put him out there with that group, and that's the Dobbs group that the way you refer to it. I'm just like, I hate whoever has to go out there and be quarterback with the Dobbs group. You're just like,
you know, it'd be amazing if one of these sports books could do obscure odds and obscure lines.
Oh, okay.
Like this Pickett. Oh, what would be the good one for Pickett? This Pickett play before the 4th quarter?
I think he gets it in the second half. I think I just don't know.
Middle of the 3rd, maybe?
This is my thing. I don't know if they start him in the second half, start the 3rd quarter, or if there's a little bit of overlap between Mitch, Mason, one of those guys coming out of the locker room that first series, and then it's Kenny. But I think Kenny gets in that 3rd quarter.
3rd quarter?
Yeah.
Does Oladokin get a snap?
No, I don't think he gets one. No,
not
this week.
That'd be a good little prop. I would love to have that prop.
Yeah, I think Oladokin gonna get the second half of that 3rd preseason game. I think that'd be it for him, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully, for his case, but at the same time, it's like, why would I cut a rep out of the competition that I need for my QB1 for Oladokin, who we know, barring something catastrophic, is not getting out there this year to start?